So I want to know, looking back in the mirror, what was it in your inner motivational drive and the curiosity as a boy that brought you to medicine, voice technology, and e-health innovation?
Oh, what a wonderful way to start. I've always loved technology ever since I was a little kid. All my favorite things to play with were, things that I could build and like radio controlled airplanes and cars and all this kind of stuff that involved technology. And so throughout my life, I've always just really been interested in technology. That's the bottom line. At the same time, as I was going through school, I determined that I really liked the sciences. I found like biology fascinating. And then as I learned more and more, I found that the area of medicine was drawing me to that. And so I went through school. I did medical school, and always though I was very interested in that in the combination, the intersection of technology and also healthcare. Another thing that I did was I did an education degree because I love educating. I love teaching. And so now through these podcasts and through the different activities I'm involved in, I get to bring those passions together of education, technology, and healthcare, and kind of bring them together and help teach people about voice technology now.
That is so lovely. And as you mentioned, you're the founder of several podcasts focusing on voice technology. So I want to know, what is the story behind them? How did you start it all? And how come you chose voice? And what is your mission with them?
So I first became aware of voice technology as a subject matter probably about 4 years ago now, approximately, maybe 4 or 5 years ago. And the first thing I became aware of were these devices, Amazon Alexa devices. And as I started to look into this a little bit, I started to realize that voice technology was going to have a huge impact on us. And given the fact that I do love teaching and I love technology, I thought, I started looking it up on the internet, as you do. When you have an interest, you start looking up things on the internet. And I started to look it up. And I'm in Canada, as you mentioned, and I couldn't find really any resources for Canadians to understand what voice technology was about. And again, as I became more and more interested in it, I wanted to provide those resources for people. I started to realize the power of this. And I was like, somebody's got to be talking about this. Somebody's got to be teaching people, because we're about to experience a big revolution in the way that we interface with technologies. And that was really the beginning of it. The first thing that I did was I launched my Canadian Voice in Canada. Actually, it was Alexa in Canada called at that time. And then I eventually changed it to Voice in Canada. And then people started asking me about, well, what does that have to do with you being a doctor? And I started to think about that. And I realized a lot. Like, there's a lot that healthcare is going to be impacted by through voice technology. So that's when I started the other podcast, Voice First Health. And it sort of just grew from there to the point that I now do events and this sort of thing. So it's really exciting.
Yeah, it sounds very, very interesting. And I've also had the pleasure to read the fascinating book, Voice Technology in Healthcare, which you have co-authored. So tell us then the story behind it, and for whom is the book written for?
Yeah, so this book that we wrote, Voice Technology in Healthcare, we have 4 co-authors. There's myself, there's David Metcalf, there's Dr. Sandhya Pruthi, and Harry Pappas. And these are a couple of people that I've got to know over the last couple of years in the voice and healthcare space. And we realized that there wasn't actually a book yet that was an overview of what is being done, what can be done, and the kind of the future of where we see voice going and the impacts on healthcare. And so we got together with a number of people that we've met over the last couple of years and asked people to contribute to write chapters. Of course, and those people that were selected for those chapters are subject matters in those particular chapters. And it's now really an overview book. Voice Technology in Healthcare is what it's called. The subtitle, I've got the book right here next to me, Leveraging Voice to Enhance Patient and Provider Experiences. And it's all about, like I said, an overview of what is and will be for voice. So I think the audience that's going to get the most out of it are people that are interested in leveraging voice for some type of healthcare application.
No, I find that really, really interesting. And I think it's very important also because of the sound around it all.